When most learners first encounter the topic of malware, it is often through dramatic stories of ransomware shutting down hospitals or data-stealing Trojans draining bank accounts. Those headlines are attention-grabbing, but they can create the impression that malware is unstoppable once it appears. In this episode, we're going to step back and focus on something more practical and more empowering: preventing malware execution in the first place. Malware must execute to cause harm. And if you can reliably stop execution, you break the attack chain before it becomes a crisis. Preventing execution is not about one magical tool, but about building layered controls across endpoints and servers so that even if one defense fails, others stand ready to stop malicious code from running. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our Course Companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyberauthor.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. To understand prevention, you first need a clear mental model of how malware succeeds. Malware typically follows a sequence that includes delivery, placement, execution, persistence, and sometimes lateral movement. Delivery might occur through a phishing email, a malicious download, a compromised website, or exploitation of a vulnerability. Placement may involve writing a file to disk or injecting code into memory. Execution is the moment the malicious code begins running instructions. If you prevent execution, the rest of the attack sequence cannot unfold, which is why execution control is such a powerful defensive point. Endpoints such as laptops and desktops are common targets because they are directly used by people who browse the web, open attachments, and install software. Servers, however, are equally important because they host applications, databases, and infrastructure services that attackers value highly. Although endpoints and servers serve different purposes, both can become launching pads for further compromise if malware executes successfully. The controls you choose may differ slightly between these environments, but the principle remains the same. Reduce opportunities for unauthorized code to run and limit what it can do if it does. Layered controls begin with reducing the attack surface. The attack surface is the total number of pathways through which malware can reach and execute on a system. If a system runs unnecessary services, allows unrestricted script execution, or includes outdated components, it presents more opportunities for exploitation. Hardening configurations by disabling unused features, enforcing secure defaults, and limiting software installation rights reduces these pathways. Hardening does not eliminate all risk, but it narrows the avenues available to attackers. Application control is one of the strongest preventive mechanisms available. Instead of allowing any executable file to run, application control enforces a policy that defines which programs are permitted. This approach can operate through allow lists, trusted publishers, or defined software baselines. When a new or unknown executable attempts to run, it is blocked by default unless explicitly approved. This shifts the model from reactive detection to proactive restriction, significantly reducing the chance that malware can execute even if it reaches the system. Maintaining current software through timely patching is another critical layer. Many malware campaigns rely on exploiting known vulnerabilities in operating systems or applications. When patches are applied consistently, these common entry points are closed. Patching should not be seen as a separate activity from malware prevention because unpatched systems create the conditions that allow malware to execute successfully. By reducing exploitable weaknesses, patching removes opportunities before attackers can take advantage of them. Endpoint protection technologies add additional safeguards by detecting malicious files and behaviors. Signature-based detection identifies known malware patterns, while behavioral monitoring looks for suspicious actions such as unusual process spawning or rapid file modification. These tools can block execution in real time, stopping malicious processes before they cause widespread damage. Although no detection system is perfect, combining signature and behavior analysis increases the likelihood that new or modified threats are caught. Privilege management is closely connected to execution prevention. Malware running under administrative privileges can disable defenses, install persistent services, and access sensitive resources more easily. By enforcing least privilege, Organizations ensure that most users operate without administrative rights. Even if malware executes in a limited account context, its ability to spread or alter critical configurations is reduced. Strong privilege controls transform potential catastrophic events into contained incidents. Network segmentation contributes another layer by restricting communication pathways. If an endpoint becomes infected, segmentation limits its ability to contact sensitive servers or other systems. Segmentation also protects high-value servers by isolating them from broad network access. This does not directly stop execution on a compromised machine, but it prevents execution from turning into widespread compromise. Prevention is cumulative, and segmentation adds depth to the defensive posture. Email and web filtering controls act earlier in the attack sequence by reducing exposure to malicious content. Blocking known malicious domains, scanning attachments, and inspecting downloads reduce the likelihood that malware reaches endpoints in executable form. These controls complement endpoint defenses by decreasing the number of threats that must be handled locally. When delivery is reduced, execution attempts decline as well. Server environments require special attention because they often run critical workloads continuously. Application control on servers must be implemented carefully to avoid disrupting essential services. However, servers often have more predictable software baselines than user endpoints, making application control particularly effective. Restricting which services can run and monitoring unexpected process activity strengthens prevention significantly. Servers should not be treated as immune to malware simply because users do not browse the web on them. Monitoring prevention mechanisms themselves is also important. When execution attempts are blocked, those events generate valuable security signals. Repeated blocked attempts may indicate targeted attacks or vulnerable user behavior. Reviewing these logs helps teams refine controls and address emerging threats. Prevention and monitoring reinforce each other, creating a feedback loop that improves resilience. User awareness remains part of a layered defense strategy. Educated users are less likely to open suspicious attachments or install unauthorized software. While technical controls provide the strongest barriers, informed behavior reduces exposure and complements system safeguards. A balanced approach recognizes that humans and technology both influence security outcomes. As environments expand into cloud services and virtual infrastructure, preventive controls must extend accordingly. Cloud workloads require similar hardening, patching, and execution restrictions. Identity-based access controls become even more critical in distributed environments. The principles of layered prevention apply regardless of platform or location. Consistency across endpoints, servers, and cloud systems maintains a unified security posture. Preventing malware execution is not about eliminating risk entirely, because absolute prevention is unrealistic. Instead, it is about stacking controls in a way that significantly reduces the probability of successful compromise. Each layer compensates for potential weaknesses in others. Over time, layered controls create a resilient environment where malicious code encounters multiple barriers before it can act. By focusing on prevention across endpoints and servers, organizations shift from reactive cleanup to proactive defense, which is far more sustainable and protective in the long run.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.